everybody. Steven, I had
What
the same
up?
idea.
What up? What up?
My name is Tim Daniel. His name is Ben Brown. His name is Seth Shaner. And his name is Steven Offenbaker. And welcome to the season finale of Late Night Reds, brought to you by the Riverfront and the Blue Wire Podcast Network. As you know, every year on the final episode of the calendar year, we do a little fun, festive episode. So today, we're bringing in our Christmas movie draft. It's our sequel to last year, our ever so popular Christmas song draft, which had a lot of nice reactions. I was originally going to have about 7 of us, and a bunch canceled. And Steve said, I got nothing better to do than hang out with you schmoes. So
he was the 8th?
Yeah.
And by the way, I have no idea what's going on. I got a link in my email. That's the extent of the prep for this.
That's right.
I clicked the link in my email, so I have no idea what's happening.
Well, for me, what's even worse about this episode is when I don't really have one of you guys with Ben, I'm stuck. But now I have 3 Buckeyes on the show.
Whoa. All right, Steve.
The week of the college football playoff, of course.
I must say, though, Tim, I am about as sour on that program that I call my own as I've been in my whole adult life. I need to de-sour pretty quick here, and I hope it happens next Saturday night.
And in the interest of hijacking Tim Daniel's show, and making it the Buckeye brief, I'm not sour on the program. I just want to be the guy that gets to fire Ryan Day. I would love to be able to be the dude that gets to walk into the office and be like, bro, pack your shit and get out of here. You're terrible.
Yep. Get out. Leave. The door is that way. You got to go.
Gotta go.
But that's part of it. That's the whole thing. Like the domino effect of that act, I would worry about, but also as much money as that program has, $37 million is a lot to say to pay somebody to go away.
True.
It'd have to be him saying no Moss himself, and there's some sort of agreement.
Yeah. Who would have thought there'd be the day that me as a Notre Dame fan would be happy with my coach than you guys are as Ohio State fans?
Well, it's all relative, Tim.
Yeah.
We have a standard that's a little bit higher than yours, and
Well, let's see how you're feeling after the Indiana beatdown, but that's a different story.
Indiana beatdown.
Yeah,
Big Ten, baby. Big Ten.
Did you see they gave Marcus Freeman a big deal?
Yeah.
I did see
like,
that.
What, 10 minutes ago?
Yeah, but the funny thing is it's time to actually pay the players out of their coffers, and now's when they decide to pay a coach?
Right.
That's insane to me.
Yeah.
You paid Brian Kelly like two.
There's 10 dudes right now going, there's something wrong with the YouTube. I'm trying to talk about the Reds, and all I'm hearing is college football. What the hell is going on?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, hey, guys, before we do get into the Reds talk or lack thereof from the winter meetings, I do want to make sure I give a quick shout out. I was with Sid Price yesterday, my good pal, and we went up to the Reds Hall of Fame for a fun event where they were doing a little get together honoring the 90 World Series team. And here's me with Chris Sabo, Ron Oster, and Todd Benzinger. And I'll tell you what was really cool about this, guys, is I covered Todd's son Grant when he played college basketball at Wright State for a short time. So I got to ask how Grant was doing. Grant played a little bit overseas professionally, but is now living in Texas. So that was really cool to hear that he's doing well. And for those who follow Late Night Reds through all of our renditions, know that I was the person who asked Annie Sabo about the infamous goggles bet. And so I got to tell Chris that it was because of me that she had to wear his old rec specs again. And Chris goes, oh, I remember that. That's funny. He goes, what's your podcast called? And I said, Late Night Reds. And I was like, we're part of the Riverfront, and we go live every Sunday at 9. He goes, I have no idea how that works, but it sounds cool.
I like that he was still wearing the Akron quarter zip even after not really working there for a couple of years.
Free gear, free gear, free gear.
Spuds doesn't strike me as the kind of guy that's like got a high turnover in the closet.
Right.
I feel like there's probably still stuff in there from like 1993. Annie didn't have to look very hard for the rec specs. That's what I'm saying. They were hanging on a hook. They were right.
When we did the deal So she ended up doing on Reds Live, if you remember.
Mm-hmm.
Hall brought his from the display and brought it over to the broadcast. So those the actual ones from the World Series.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's pretty cool.
That's cool.
One of my favorite memories I've ever had in podcasting. And it was like John sat it out on TV. So that was neat. It was a lot of fun. Well, guys, as always, the Reds did nothing at winter meetings. I shouldn't say as always, but it's been a minute, right? So we've had all these conversations of, would you consider this guy? Would you want this guy? That's been mine and Ben's show for like a month and a half. And Steve, I know you and Jeff are going at it every day, talking about everything going on. Who would you like to see? This guy. We've heard a lot of, they've been linked to those, as Ben and Seth mentioned this week on the Riverfront Red show, which was a great show, by the way, guys. I had a lot of fun listening to it.
Thanks.
And then this weekend, I feel like the situation of not getting anybody got worse, because the first thing we hear is Kyle Tucker to the Cubs from the Astros in a pretty easy deal, right? Like a pretty, the Cubs got away pretty well with that deal. And I was like, that's annoying. I thought he would have been really good at Cincinnati, but we know how that goes. And then me, Joe Luckup, and a bunch of people over on the Blue Sky, for those who are actually using that app, are losing our minds when MLB Trade Rumors tweets, Cubs interested in trading for Mariners starting pitcher Luis Castillo. And I said, I don't need that negativity on a Saturday. I'm already losing the crosstown shootout today. I don't need this as well. And so it went from bad to worse this weekend for the Reds doing nothing.
If I have to watch Luis Castillo pitch in a god-awful Cubs jersey and listen to all those idiots from Mason on the third base line talk a bunch of smack at Great American Ballpark, I'm going to lose my mind. This deal cannot happen. It cannot be allowed.
Right.
Agreed.
Yeah, that's kind of the worst case scenario, dude. Like that would be absolutely awful if that were to happen.
It reminds me of Chapman going there after
the Yankees.
The Reds got lowballed, sending him to the Yankees, and then he gets sent over to the Cubs, and he basically wins the World Series for them.
Yep.
Not basically. He almost lost the World Series.
His arm was hanging off by the end.
Joe Madden was like, "You're leaving? I am going to run your arm out."
Yep.
I mean, if there's not the rain delay, they might lose that World Series.
Yeah, that was something else.
Yeah, Nigel Morgan having like the moment of his life and all for nothing. But kudos to him. I mean, he'll always be remembered for that. But yeah, and like I know everyone's talked about this. We're all Reds podcasters, so we're not telling you anything you haven't heard already. But I think the conversation just strictly being they're interested in. I'm very interested in hanging out with Sidney Sweeney someday, but that's probably as likely as happening as the Reds getting Juan Soto at some point before he signed his Mets contract, right?
Who's Sadie Sweeney?
I guess Grace doesn't listen to the show, huh?
On occasion.
Oh, we're doing great tonight, folks. Welcome to Late Night Reds.
Oh, man. Wow.
Oh, well, letting it breathe a little bit tonight. But the worst was the free agents that considered the Reds, or the team that considered the Reds in the trades. Nice to be considered, but we'll just be on this outpost again. Yeah. Ben, you can text Grace, right?
Yeah.
It's true. Ben was the one that married us. That is legit true story. But yeah, that's the thing. It's like, okay, so they really like this guy, he gets moved. They really like Garrett Crochet, he gets moved. By the way, I think the White Sox have done a really good job. They did a really good job with that trade. I thought that was a really, really nice haul for them. It's not nice. Often you can say White Sox did well. I'm gonna pretend Paul Giannis had part of that deal with his job with the White Sox. So congrats, Paul. I'm really happy for you. Just to tie the Reds in there. But I think when we go back to, and I'm spitballing here, and I just want to get your guys' thoughts as well before we get to the fun stuff. this conversation has been coming out a lot, right? And Nick Kroll was basically really honest about we're a small market team and this is how things are going to be. He said this when David Bell got fired before they even hired Terry Francona and blah, blah, blah. The Athletics, who don't even have a city, are spending money.
Mm-hmm.
They wouldn't get, I mean, they're making moves. What I feel like the Athletics making moves is like when your buddy gets in shape and you're like, well, I'm out of excuses now, man. I gotta get my gym membership going. Like, so that's the point where it's like they're doing stuff. All right, it's time for us to hop in on this. And the options are running very slim. I think we've all agreed Luke Maley will likely be back as the backup catcher because who else will be there? And at this point,
I'm still holding out hope for Yasmani Grandal. I
you?
really am. I am, because if you look at what he did from a OPS plus standpoint, if you look at, just the fact that he's another plug and play as far as league knowledge and the knowledge of hitters and how to handle a pitching staff, I think he's an upgrade over where Luke Maley was. So I'm not necessarily ready to just be like, oh, well, what's going to be Luke Maley? But it's getting close to that. You're absolutely right. But I'm still holding out hope that they go do something a little bit different so that at least there's an expectation of a possible base hit when the guy gets in the batter's box.
Yeah. And look, I love Luke Maley. No issues with Luke whatsoever. It's just they need someone that could be a threat at some point with the Black.
The issue with Luke is the on-field, the play.
Yeah.
You think the Athletics are getting some sort of tax break from being nomads? Are they? Are they like saving money somewhere? Because they're not going to. I mean, they're going to play in like a 13,000 seat stadium.
Yeah. Well, I mean, technically, they don't have any city tax because they don't have a city.
Let me ask you guys this. Let's think just outlandish for just a minute. Let's say that the A's go to the World Series. Is Major League Baseball going to let the A's host World Series games in frickin' Sacramento, California?
They might have to use the Kings Arena and put a baseball field in there.
Even playoff games at all. Like they'll make them play in San Francisco, don't you think?
Yeah,
that's what I think would have to happen.
Yeah,
would have to happen.
Yeah, they'd have to.
That's bizarre. You think Al Davis was their owner or something?
Right?
Bad. But I guess the latest is the one I've been saying all offseason on everybody's show. Sounds like they're talking to the White Sox, whatever that means, about Lou Bob. And I'm sick of talking. Just make it happen. Because you're running out of options too.
Mm-hmm.
So Nick Kroll,
they're not. Teoscar Hernandez is still out there. Anthony Santander is still out there. Why would you go trade valuable prospect capital for a guy who's only been healthy 1 year? Now, granted, his 1 year was really freaking good.
It was.
But every year for the last 4 years, his batting average has gone down. Every year for the last 4 years, his on-base percentage has gone down, and he has not demonstrated an ability to stay healthy and be on the field. Why in the world is that the guy that we're like, oh, that's going to fix the outfield? No, you're going to get him for 2 weeks, and then it's Stuart Fairchild. It's no different than what they've been doing. I don't understand. And Jeff and I have been going round and round and round on this because he was like, yeah, we could trade Nick Lodolo and Cam Collier for him. And I'm like, you are out of your damn mind. That's crazy. It's crazy.
I don't know. I like Lou Bob. I think he'd be nice. I think he'd be nice in Cincinnati. But
so
I get your point.
You go to the White Sox.
I told Jeff Carr that if they sign him, they should have the press conference holding up his jersey at the University of Cincinnati Medical Center because that's where he's going to spend most of his time anyway.
Steve, don't mention that school today, okay? Can you not?
Well, did you want to talk about the Bearcats?
Never.
The
University of Cincinnati might as well be a Pittsburgh team to me. All right. So.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So you go to the White Sox and you say, hey, you went over on the Red Sox really well for that other trade. Give us a discount.
Paul Yanish works for the White Sox. Hey, Paul, help your old buddy out.
Agent.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought that was kind of but Taylor Ward, I don't think has made a move yet. So if they have to make a trade, maybe that's an option. But yeah, I'm with you, Steve. I mean, Teoscar Hernandez, I've seen linked a million to, like we all have, but the like fact that like they're like projected spot track, I think had him at 3 at 66, and the Reds are kind of like not feeling 3 for 66 seems kind of silly to me. I understand this is the Reds we're talking about, but I would be willing to give him 22 a year if it were my money.
I'd offer him 4 for 88 with that 4th year being a mutual option.
Yes.
with a whatever buyout, and get this over with already.
Yeah, please, because thank God it's our last episode of the year unless they make some big move. Otherwise, because we're running out of things to talk about and we're having the same conversation over and over again. Yeah, I don't know, man. Do you think we can get on that Luis Castillo action? Just, bring him where he belongs, bring him home.
I give him Noelve Marte for him.
Me too. I don't know, man. I just feel like the Santander thing, I would absolutely love. Makes a ton of sense. Would fit perfect with this team. But if we're going in this mindset of, well, we're not going to sign Ellie De La Cruz in 5 years, shouldn't you maximize the window you have them? And I'm not saying they won't, but everyone's basically all but said it's not going to happen. Like they're like scarred by the Joey Votto contract because it hurt them so bad, didn't it? But at this point, if it's like with what they have, do it. Make something happen. Go get some guys to put around him. If you're only going to have him for another 4 years, let's effing win one of those 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you realistically have a 2-year window right now. You have 2025 and you have 2026, because I'm convinced that there will not be baseball in 2027. So you have 2 years right now to win. And you have most of the pieces in place to win. So what the heck are you waiting for? The time is now. I'm not opposed to trading away every piece of prospect in the system, but it's not for Luis Robert Jr. It's got to be for somebody that's going to be a meaningful contributor that you think is going to do something big. Anthony Santander could hit 55 home runs at Great American Ballpark. He hit 40 plus playing in Camden Yards, right? So get him in a hitter friendly ballpark like Great American. That number goes up. You can do things to win right now. I think they did a good job with stabilizing this rotation.
Me too.
I think that was a priority fix. I think that there's still a move to be had in the bullpen to bring somebody in from the outside. And that includes, in addition to sending Graham Ashcraft to be part of this bullpen, you strengthen this bullpen. That still leaves you $25 million if they're being truthful about what they're willing to do with the payroll. That leaves you $25 million to go get a guy like Teoscar or go get a guy like Anthony that's a real difference maker, and you can win right now. Because listen, the Cubs aren't screwing around.
Right.
And the Reds cannot stand pat and expect to compete with that. Milwaukee's kind of blowing it up. Milwaukee's doing some weird things.
Yeah, but they still win when they do this.
They do, but this has got to be the year that we figure out how to beat those fools. It has to be the year. But the Cubs are serious about winning this division. Everything they're doing right now says we will be contenders in 2025. The Reds have to make a matching move right now because this is the window, 25, 26. By the time all that's over, the finances of baseball are going to be different. The way that free agency works is going to be different. There's no chance that they're going to be able to keep Ellie De La Cruz after all of that. So the window that used to be this big is this big right now, and they have to make a move.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, especially like you mentioned. So the Cardinals are basically getting rid of all their bad contracts. That's their goal. So, and they should, realistically. The Pirates are the Pirates. We know they can have some nice, cute piece that is like really fun and exciting, but they're never going to win. And don't anyone tell me how their prospects are so bright, because they're not. It's the Pirates. Let's be honest here. This is franchise that had Barry Bonds and screwed it up. Come on now. And also, like you said, the Brewers try to do whatever they do. I mean, I like what they got for Devin Williams. I thought that was like a nice haul. So yeah, it's really the Reds and the Cubs are basically, that's it. That's like, if you're the Reds and you play this smart, that's your competition for the division. And I think like your core guys, you can make the case that the Reds are better than the Cubs with your Ellies and if Matt McClain comes back and does what we think he's going to do, and your Tyler Stevensons and so on and so forth, your Hunter Greens, etc. But I also am thinking like, yeah, you got to kind of not let the Cubs just kind of take this over. I don't like the idea of shooting for the wild card, but God, would I take a wild card berth just to have something to be happy about?
Hey, I want to bounce something off you, Steven, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go for it.
I was talking with Denny Nagle a couple weeks ago and really dove into that 1999 season a little more even. And that off season brought Denny Nagle, it brought Greg Vaughn, it brought Mike Cameron. Now, they traded Brett Boone, they traded Reggie Sanders. So those were established players. But you think about this team going into this coming year, the starting pitching staff is better than that 99 overall, top to bottom. I mean, to your point, if you make just a move here or there, whether it's free agent or a trade or two, you're realistically 2 to 3 players from being about where you want to be, aren't you?
They're 2 bats. They're 2 bats and 1 bullpen arm away from winning this division right now.
Yeah.
And that Greg Vaughn deal is probably one of the most undervalued, underrated additions
1,000%
that this team has ever made, because he came in with an attitude. He came in with a bunch of talent, and he was the guy that kind of grabbed all those dudes in the clubhouse and said, let's freaking go. And that's what this team, I really think that's what this team lacks right now. They need somebody to come in here and be like, I'm going to come in and I'm going to bat fourth and I'm going to hit you 40 home runs and let's freaking go. That's the guy they need.
And that's basically Jonathan India who can play, like who can be in the middle of the.
Yes.
I'm sorry about Jonathan. That's not what I meant. I meant
no. I know exactly.
We understand what you're saying.
I get
the
it.
Middle of the order guy. So the headstrong guy that's going to be rah, and then he can actually really give you that stabilizer in the middle of the lineup.
You know, that year that they brought, you're talking about, you know, if you're using Greg Vaughn as the kind of the piece, the model, right? The model. He was 17% better than league average that one year that he was in Cincinnati. He had an OPS plus of 117. He came into Riverfront Stadium, hit 45 home runs, 118 RBIs, and was a leader. He was the man amongst men. That's I'm convinced, Seth, that's the kind of guy that pushes this team over the top. That one guy, that one dude that can come in and really help focus all of these young guys and lead them somewhere. You know, if it's a Santander, you know, this is a guy that was been around the youth movements, been around young, exciting teams that have suddenly found success. He knows how to navigate that. If you're talking about Teoscar Hernandez, he's coming from the freaking Dodgers. Like, he knows what it's like to win. He knows what it's like to be involved in a winning organization that will do whatever it takes to get the trophy. That's what's lacking in this clubhouse. That's why I don't want them to go trade for a dude that just helped set the Major League Baseball record for losses. I want them to go get a guy that knows how to hoist a trophy. That's what this team needs.
Even to that same argument, I mean, you look at the 2012 team, when they got Ryan Ludwig, that kind of was like, all right, cool. This is like their middle. This is their guy to go with Bruce and Votto and Phillips, and he's going to go in there and he's going to fit in really well with this team. And he's a guy who knows what it takes to win. He was a part of the Cardinals for a very long time. I know he didn't win a World Series with them. Did he? Actually, did he win that? What was the one they won in the 2000s? 2005? I'm wrong.
I try to block out traumatic events.
Yeah, I do too. But my point being that when they got Ryan Ludwig, it was like, it kind of feel like it just like stabilized the outfield with Bruce and Stubbs and those guys. And yeah, so he wasn't as good as Greg Vaughn by any means, but I think every team's just kind of had that guy. It's like these successful Reds teams has had that dude. It's just kind of, when we need it, I'll put you on my back and we'll figure it out. And granted, 2012 was incredible. That team was unbelievable. Joey doesn't get hurt. He's MVP that year. But my point standing that, yeah, I do think they need that dude. And not that dude, that dude.
No.
He did not appear in a World Series. He went to the NLDS with the Cardinals in 2009.
That's right.
And then the LDS with the Reds in 2012 and the wild card game in 2013 that we've all blacked out against the Pirates.
So
how about that one weird random year with the Pirates that no one remembers too?
Yeah. Tim, you had David Brown's posts up on the board here. They didn't win anything in the 1999 season. First of all, how many times does 96 wins not get you to the playoffs? That's number one.
Pretty hard, yeah.
Two, you were saying you'd long for just a wild card at this point. If the current structure was there in 1999, the Reds are a playoff team. And oh, by the way, they had pretty good success against the Diamondbacks and the Braves and the Astros that year. So getting them in might have taken us on a ride. So, I'd say if you could say, hey, this team's going to win 96 games in 2025, given the current structure, to Steven's point, they might win the division, but even if they don't, they're in.
Yeah. I just want a home playoff game at GABP again. I want to feel that feeling again. Because
I've never been to one there.
I was at one I never want to remember. Obviously, they haven't won a home game there in the postseason. And like I said, blocking out traumatic memories. But I was at the Giants series. And before the results, it was very fun to be in the stadium. It was a very good feeling to be in the stadium that day. But the results were the results. So
I'm with you. Because, right now, my GABP highlight, my I attended in person highlight was the home run derby with Frazier. That's like,
that's all we got.
I wasn't there for Clinchmas. Jeff was there for Clinchmas.
I was.
And, I'm sure that was a good time, but that stadium really, it's a beautiful ballpark. It's fun to be in, and it really lacks in the terms of big moments. It needs some more big moments. And I'm with you. A home playoff win. Give me all of that. I will fly in for that 100%.
Yeah, aside from Joe Randa and Ramon Hernandez on opening days.
Yeah.
And opening day means a lot to us, but it's not the same around the league. Like those postseason moments are the one that are etched in their memories.
Yeah, for sure. It's funny you say that, Seth. When I went to the Hall of Fame yesterday, they're still doing the exhibit on like great home runs in Reds history. And that's the one opening day I went to with my dad. And I talked about that in the story. And yesterday has been my dad's 60th birthday. And that clip was playing on the screen inside the Hall of Fame when I got there. So that was really cool.
That's cool. Yeah, that's dope.
Hold on. Unpopular opinion, the Griffey and Roland trades were both terrible. David obviously does not listen to Red Leg Roundtable.
I think Seth, you should blow this up.
Well, first of all, everybody I've talked to longed for the idea that maybe you could have kept Cameron and Vaughn, ran it back, done something. But even as they say that, without me even prompting most of them, when you're talking about Pokey Reese, Denny Nagel, all these guys, they all say you couldn't have not gotten Griffey. You had to get Griffey. And in fact, if you look at what they gave up, I mean, Mike Cameron, you basically had to give Mike Cameron up basically because he was going to play the spot, right? The center fielder.
Right.
But some of the prospects they gave up were not. They didn't pan out. So even no. And then the Roland deal, it's the same thing as you talk about Ludwig. The trade for the leader in the clubhouse was done in 2009 when they were out of the hunt, and everybody laughed at them for making that deal.
Yeah. Because
you're not in the hunt, and all these other teams are trading for veterans that are trying to win now. Well, the very next year, I mean, just watch the All-Star game in 2010. First to third, baby, that's what we do.
And the other thing about that trade is when people were like, well, they should have never given up Edwin. Do we forget Edwin got DFA'd by the Blue Jays before he had that weird run where he got really hot again?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. And Tom Brenneman ran him out of town.
Yeah.
Because he couldn't drop a bunt down. Come on.
My favorite.
And listen, everybody wants to poo-poo the Griffey trade because in hindsight,
yeah.
But nobody could have ever.
Was Brett Tomko good when he left the Reds?
No, but nobody could have ever predicted the amount of injuries that Griffey was going to deal with in his time in Cincinnati. And even though he was hurt all the time with freak long-term painful injuries, I'm talking about detached hamstrings, and I'm talking about things that take you a long time to recover from. In his 9 years in Cincinnati, 9 seasons, his career time for the Reds, he was 22% better than league average. His OPS plus was 122, good for 210 home runs, playing on one leg and usually a busted arm. That trade was not a bust. Did you get Hall of Famer Griffey? No, there was moments of Hall of Famer Griffey.
Yes.
But but it was not a bust. You got an outfielder that was 22% better than every other outfielder, the league average guy, right? So to label that trade a bust, I think, considering that you got Griffey on a steal anyway, when looking at the trade, because the Mariners' hands were forced. Yeah. I think Leather Pants did just fine in getting that deal done. And I think that Griffey was good while he was a member of the Reds. He wasn't Hall of Famer Griffey, but he was good.
And you outbid the Mets.
To call that trade a bust, I think is very short-sighted.
Agreed. Now the Reds have had bad trades. Don't get me wrong. That is not one of them. That is absolutely not one of them. Yeah, for sure. Drew Henson for Denny Nagel is all time forever going to be one that I just. We traded for the Michigan quarterback.
I told you, man. George Steinbrenner wanted to keep him off the football field. That's what that trade was all about.
Drew Henson was traded to the Cincinnati Reds, and 2 years later was the starting quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. Seth, did you say he had like one plate appearance for the Yankees? Was that what it was?
No, he came back later, and I think in 2 different years he had 2 different games for the Yankees. But yeah, no, the trade itself wasn't what kept him off the field in Michigan, but the commitment to him by the Yankees to only play baseball. That was always the rumor, was that George didn't want to see him out there. And of course, the funny thing is, during his time when all the Michigan fans wanted him to play, Tom Brady was the one getting to play in front of him. So they all longed for Drew Henson when Brady, now obviously you see what he is.
And clearly what that path leads you on is that Steinbrenner is the root of all evil. Yeah. You mentioned Michigan, you mentioned the Yankees, you mentioned the Cowboys, and it all leads back to Steinbrenner.
Well, the band room at Ohio Stadium is named after his wife. They paid for it.
Fair. I guess other Reds news. They got the 9th pick in the lottery in the draft. So cool.
Yeah, in a draft where apparently there's 7 good prospects.
I haven't looked into this draft. I thought last year's was decent, but apparently, from what I've read, this year's is a nice drop off in the last 2 years. So I don't think there's any Rhett Louders hanging out in this draft.
Nope.
No.
Mr. Juan.
I love draft
picks.
Well, Bob, of course they're projected to take a shortstop. What else would they take? David, my guy.
Let's take a picture.
David, my man. You know this every week. You're losing this argument. You're my guy. I love talking with you. You're fun. I appreciate you disagree with us each and every week. You're not winning this one. Not winning this one. That 2010 doesn't win without Scott Rowland. Seth Ben and I have all talked to Drew Stubbs about this, and he has flat out said, no, they're not winning without Scott Rowland. So,
is David's contention that Scott Rowland was bad? Is that the?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. He wasn't. I don't know how else to say that. He wasn't. I mean, he was 5%. He was 5% better than league average, right? His slash line in Cincinnati was 263, 332, 438 in his 4 years as a member of the Reds. His power wasn't amazing. He hit 36 home runs while he was here, 20 in 2010. But his power was mostly absent other than that. But the influence that he had on the clubhouse, every single player points to the attitude change, the change in demeanor of the team because Scott Rowland was around. You can't, there's some things that don't show up on the back of a baseball card. And that is one of the things that don't show up on the back of a baseball card. And it's the same thing that this clubhouse is looking for right now. They're looking for their Scott Rowland. They're looking for their Greg Vaughn. They're looking for their guy to come in here and be like, I am too old and I don't have enough time left for you guys to be screwing around. We're going to go. We're going to play hard. We're going to win. And then you've got Terry Francona driving that ship. They're primed for an infusion of a guy like that to make a huge difference.
And most important, what's Chris Carper going to say to his kid? That's
So I talked about this last week. I was talking about this with Joe Luckup, actually. So there was a game I went to in 2011. I think, Seth, we talked about this on the show last week, filling in for Ben, where The Reds came back. They swept the Cardinals. It was in May. Ramon Hernandez hits a home run off, I think, in the second or third inning.
Mm-hmm.
And the smoke from the smokestacks blows into the field. And Chris Carpenter delayed the game.
Mm-hmm.
So
just like John Smoltz when he was at Cardinals said the mound was too low.
I forgot about that. Oh my God, John Smoltz. Remember Arthur Rhodes was on the 2011 World Series team somehow.
That hurts.
Yeah, after being in the All-Star game with the Reds the year before.
Sid's trying to trigger everybody again with Goldschmidt.
Steve's gonna like just quit the show. He's like, "F you guys, I'm out."
I will say I'm at a disadvantage because I think all of you guys are on a login where you can see all the comments as they're happening.
Oh, you can't see it,
so I can't see it.
Okay.
So,
yeah,
but you know, my experience with Sid is that Sid is very, very good at stirring the pot, and we are not going down that road.
Sid's in a good mood today. The Dayton Flyers beat number 6 Marquette yesterday, so good for them.
My brother-in-law was there last night. That was good.
Sid was too. Dude, if they signed freaking Pete Alonso, buddy, you don't even want to know the grown man tears I would cry. This would be more just hard root beer that night. We'd be celebrating. You think Aaron Judge hitting 61 in Yankee Stadium would be impressive? God, what would Pete Alonso do at GABP?
I want to find out. I mean, so you keep saying how many of these power hitters would hit if they were just in GABP. Well, let's do it. Like, they haven't had a bona fide just power hitter in how long?
Yeah, because even Joey wasn't a power hitter. Until
was Adam Dunn the last? Bruce Dunn, like who was the last guy? Like
Adam Duvall.
You would really be worried about just like being a 30-40 home run guy. Like,
well, Bruce did it over about a 3 or 4 year stretch, so I'd have to say him. Now Dunn did it more, obviously, with his 40 plus for year after year after year.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes, I don't know if we're having this movie draft. That's all right.
We're getting there.
It's a 2-round draft.
Outside of that, like Aristides Aquino is your.
Well, no, you've got to fuse Aquino with Puig and merge that one season.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah. 17 home runs after August 1st.
Don't forget about the 6 games with Matt Kemp.
Oh.
All right.
That's it, Tim. That's it, baby.
Yeah. So I'm pulling up right now. So
yeah, but didn't he date Holly Berry? So I don't care what he did on the baseball.
David Justice did.
Yeah, David Justice certainly did.
Didn't Matt Kemp?
Kemp's a little young for Halle Berry, I think.
Halle Berry
you might want to ask Holly Berry about that.
Halle Berry don't have no age limit. She does what she wants.
Buddy,
Ben gets it. Ben understands.
Yeah, she was Storm.
Yeah, she
Come on.
She wants. Yeah.
All right, so I'm setting up the draft right now.
Oh boy.
Well, the order. And so,
what are we drafting? Christmas movies?
Christmas movies. We're doing our all-time best Christmas movies. All right. So here's the rules, so everyone knows what's going on. So, like we said, last year we did the Christmas song draft. We had a lot more of us, so it was a little harder to win. This year we're doing Christmas movies. We're picking our all-time best Christmas movies, but if one's taken off the board, obviously it's like a regular draft. That movie cannot be selected again. The rules are, we're going snake between the 4 of us. I will determine the draft order here in just a second. And sequels are not, so you can't take the Home Alone franchise, which, let's be honest, you only want one Home Alone movie anyway. And if you want to take TV specials, those count because obviously the claymation in the 70s, everyone loves those. And of course, the one caveat is everyone gets one. Are we sure that's a Christmas movie? So,
absolutely.
The Die Hards, the Batman Returns. Yes.
Everyone has to take one?
No, you don't have to, but you have one. So you can't take Die Hard and Batman Returns. Because then you have people who are mad at you. All right. Any questions from the panel?
No.
All right. So let me go ahead and share my screen.
Guys, get ready to lose.
I prepared least for this than I have any of these drafts, and I
again, I got an email link, having no clue what I was walking into.
All right. So, picking 4th, me. So I get the wraparound. Picking third.
I've heard that's how you roll.
Seth.
Oh.
All right. It would probably help if I put it on the screen, right? Look at these sweet ads from Dick's Sporting Goods. Picking second.
We're getting nothing
Steve.
for that.
And picking first, Ben Brown gets to start the draft. So, Ben, congratulations. All right. So, 6 rounds.
Oh boy.
Ben, you told me before we got on air you had a big board.
Yeah, I do.
And so
I do.
Start us off, Coach of the Year.
I've got to start with my favorite, and that is National Lampoon's.
There you go.
Yes, sir.
Vacation.
That's the only right answer.
Yeah, dude. Gotta go Christmas Vacation.
Yeah. Let me make sure
All
I
right.
put this in my thing here just so I have them. So Ben,
we don't have real-time updating graphics. Like, what the hell's going on with the production budget around here? What is going on? By the way, while we're resetting for the next pick, I would love to like be a fly on the wall when like Nate and Chad get together and just giggle about the shit they pulled on Tim, because they're like, dude, we want to bring you on the network. We're going to give you your own live show. And we want you to talk about a Reds team that's not going to do a goddamn thing in the offseason. And just to make it extra special, we're putting you up against Sunday Night Football. That's what we're going to do for you.
Hey, man, I got 100 people hanging out here somehow tonight, so I will take it. But,
yeah.
And also in their defense, I did pick Sunday nights because it was the night that worked best for Ben with coaching football.
All right, so it's Ben's fault, is what you're
saying. That's my bad. I'll take
okay,
it.
all right, I got you.
I'll take it.
Ran him over. That's right.
All right, so Steve, you are now at pick 2 after making the funniest point ever on Late Night Reds. So,
all right, I am getting my stop motion animation pick out of the way right off the top, and I am taking Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, circa 1970 on CBS.
Oh, all dude, right. I just showed this to Iris for the first time.
Incredible.
Did she have freak out mode, or was she?
No, she did get scared when I showed her Jim Carrey's Grinch. She was too scary. And I was like, I'm really sorry.
Yeah, there he is.
Yeah. All right, Seth, you are now up.
Well, for this pick, I will go a little more traditional. I'm going to say It's a Wonderful Life.
Nice.
Like it.
Oh, an angel got their wings.
Oh, dude. Gets me every time.
Yep.
Every time.
All right, so I have the wraparound. So I'm going to first go with Elf because that's my like every Christmas morning. That's what Grace and I watch together. That's a tradition I started when I was living by myself, and then she willingly accepted the tradition to watch it with me every Christmas morning. And then I'm going to take.
What's the most memorable line from Elf for you?
God, there's a lot, but I crack up every time we do all the food groups, candy corn, candy canes, and most important, syrup.
And I just can't ever unhear it's Santa. I know him.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, you smell like beef and cheese.
Hey, we watched it the other night with my 9-year-old, and I put a camera right on him, and I said, you like syrup, don't you? And he said, is there sugar in syrup? And I said, yes. And he goes, then yes.
Yes.
So TV specials are included, David. They are included. I didn't plan for him the 4th pick. So this is tough because I'm to pick one or the other. I think I'm gonna have to go Home Alone.
There it is.
I think I have to.
Okay.
Yeah.
I respect it.
Yeah.
That's where I was going to go. And I will tell you, there's an age deal here because A Christmas Story is a certain age group where if you
for sure
are that old, then it's obviously on all the time and all that. Mm-hmm. But I'm of the age that Home Alone, I was about the age of Kevin McAllister when he was left home alone. And so that was kind of my thing. So yeah. Oh boy.
That was tough, man. There was like 3 that I was like, I can go either way.
I wish you would have.
I know.
I'm going to go Charlie Brown Christmas.
See, that was one of the ones I was thinking about. Yeah.
Yep. That's a good one. That's a really good one.
That's a great pick. I think Seth's off to the lead so far. but Ben and Steve have to have their second pick. So who knows what happens next?
All right, I guess that comes to me.
Yep.
Can I just take the Hallmark Channel for the win right now, or should I wait? Should I wait? No.
Only if you have a gazebo.
I think I've got my stop motion animation pick. I think following Seth's lead, I should get an old school Christmas movie pick. Now, Seth, where did you go with your first pick?
Mine was It's a Wonderful Life.
All right, I am going to lean hard into A Christmas Story then.
Oh, dude,
that's a good one.
Just watched it the other night.
Yep,
Love it so much.
I need my BB gun. Is what I'm saying.
That's legit.
Yeah, it's so good. All right, Ben, you've got 2 picks.
All right, so I'm gonna go animation, which is a family tradition for us to watch this every Christmas Eve since my son was a baby, and I'm gonna go The Polar Express.
Okay.
Good
little
one.
Tom Hanks. All right.
Yeah.
Tom Hanks Polar Express. That one always gets played for sure.
John, we actually all have kids. We're all dads.
But the eras are about to sort themselves out, right?
Yes,
Right.
they are.
There's the heavy hitters like Rudolph, and then there's SpongeBob Christmas. So it just depends on your era.
Yes, it is.
Tim's about to pick something bluey. I don't know that it exists, but I bet that it exists.
There's got to be a bluey Christmas out there.
Gotta be.
There
There
is.
has to be.
There
Yeah,
is.
it gotta be.
And it's great.
Yeah.
I freaking love
I'm
Bluey.
gonna go for my round 3 first pick, and this is my old school pick, and I'm gonna go Miracle on 34th Street.
Oh,
Yes.
dude.
Yeah.
I had it on the big board.
Yep.
Yes.
I got a confession.
Never seen it.
Never seen it.
Oh my God, Seth, you got to get in there as the student of history that you are.
I am.
You got to lean into those kind of things, man.
I mean, It's a Wonderful Life. I'm there.
Yeah,
but I've
just
never.
Just for the interiors of Macy's that exist in that movie from back in the day. Like you got to get in. You got to get into that.
Cool.
I guess that comes back around to me. So
Yep.
I think I'm going to use this opportunity to go something obscure, something that doesn't necessarily jump out and grab you as a Christmas movie. And you guys are all like, oh, he's taking Die Hard. And I'm not taking Die Hard because there is video that exists of Bruce Willis saying Die Hard is not a Christmas movie. And so this debate, while it's fun, I mean, the guy that starred in it said it's not a Christmas movie. So I'm not going to go
Rickman's not there to defend himself.
This is true. But where I'm going to go for my obscure, non-Christmassy Christmas movie pick is I am taking The Gremlins.
Oh,
Yes.
good pick.
Ooh,
That's a
absolutely.
really good pick.
Bright light, bright light.
Yeah, there you go.
Sneaky good pick.
That is a good pick.
Yeah.
All right. Can I go now?
Yeah.
So, in order to lean into how much I love my wife and not act like I want to go be with some other lady like somebody else did on this show earlier.
Woo!
It's called a hall pass, Seth.
Tim is dreaming of a lonely Christmas. Woo!
Before we had kids, my wife and I spent the Christmas season just before Christmas in Key West and basically just, hung out together the whole time. And we watched The Santa Claus.
Oh, good.
Oh,
pick.
yeah.
That's a good one.
And I had seen it before, and certainly it's a good movie. But that has become kind of a tradition now for us that at some point we will watch The Santa Claus with
That's
our
a good
kids
one.
now. So that's going to be my pick.
I like it.
Nice.
That's a good pick.
That's good. That's a good one.
All right. I'm shocked this actually got back to me, though you guys do have great picks. So for the final pick in the third round, I'm going to take Jim Carrey's How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Yeah.
It's an all-timer, even though it did scare the heck out of my child. And then I will take my Are We Sure It's a Christmas Movie with Batman Returns, because it does take place at the time of Christmas. And to further to my 80s super crush, Michelle Pfeiffer, guys.
Oh, yeah. No doubt.
I mean, Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yep.
Hey, thank you, Mr. Juan.
Yeah, Seth does have a good list here. So
I want to say, every draft I've done, whether it be with you or Nate, the vote the next day has been that I've won. So we're gonna test that from here on out.
Well, hopefully we'll have this all. We can get a little poll up, and we'll see.
All right. So I'm up now, Tim. Again, you took your
Yep.
2. I'll go with my one that's not traditional, like that's not necessarily about Christmas, but it takes place during Christmas, and that is Trading Places.
Oh yeah, you won the draft.
Okay.
You won the draft.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's such a good pick.
Thank you, Mr. Juan, again.
Wow, it comes back to me, and I'm a little stuck right now because the question is, can you win this draft with 2 stop motion animations? And I think that you can, because I'm taking Frosty the Snowman.
There you go.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
You're tugging at some heartstrings.
Yeah, you really are.
I want the nostalgia vote, baby.
You're aiming for it. I mean, hey, yeah.
Yeah, that's killing it. That's killing it.
Only at draft time, Mr. Juan.
I'll have to let him know. So my daughter's doing a early tumbling class on Saturday mornings, and I guess Nick Kroll's family goes to the same studio. And I've seen him in the hallway a couple times. I think he knows who I work for, so he doesn't talk to me.
You should like Nancy Kerrigan him. Just freaking run through.
Whoa,
Sorry,
Ted,
say that again. Who do you see at tumbling class?
Nick Kroll.
Oh, okay. Well, you haven't arrived yet until Phil Castellini gives you a death stare. I'm just saying.
Should I just go in there and wear a Riverfront shirt next time?
Oh, dude.
Yeah, yeah.
That would be the only other thing, because you know this story, right? Were you with us? You were with us, right? When he stared Jeff and I down on the escalator at Reds Fest?
On an escalator.
Yes,
wow.
He did. Like one of these guys. All the way as we passed him. I'm like, Jeff. He knew who we were.
That's funny.
All right, Ben, you got your 2.
I'm gonna go another old school movie that we used to watch, which with one of my all-time favorites, my guy Bill Murray and Scrooged.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a good pick.
Yeah, dude. That was one of my, when I was a kid, that was one of my all-time favorite movies. Well, because Bill Murray's just, he's awesome. He's incredible.
He is the man.
And Tim took the Jim Carrey version, but I'm going to take the animated version of The Grinch.
So are you doing Benedict Cumberbatch or the TV special from the 70s?
Ooh. Yeah,
that was actually pretty good.
I'm going back to the 70s.
Yeah, you
yes,
probably that one.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going old school.
If there was a draft for comments tonight, Mr. Juan would win it.
Yeah, since Steve can't see it, I'll put this one up. Steve, I will cut that and send it to you as a clip. So
yes, I absolutely.
100%. Yeah, with your hands up too. Yeah.
All right. Well, Steve's down with his 5th pick.
So, how many rounds are there, guys?
6.
There's 6 rounds.
No reason particular. I just thought we could get 24 Christmas movies or TV specials in.
All right, I guess that's fair. Do I want to lean? You know what? I'm going to take an irreverent pick here while I think about what my final pick to win the draft is going to be. So my irreverent pick right here is going to be Bad Santa.
Oh, good one. So
don't watch it with the children, please.
No.
Right.
I saw someone in the chat mentioned earlier the Harry Potter movies, and I just want to make sure I say this because I think I have the right to say this as one who has Harry Potter tattooed on him.
What?
I have a Harry Potter tattoo.
Wait.
y'all just shut the show down.
We interrupt this draft with some follow-up questions. So
I don't show this on camera. Yeah, I actually have a
thank God it's something you can show on camera. First of all,
yeah.
Let's just start with what is it?
It's the Deathly Hallows logo.
When did this happen?
I've had this for years.
Okay,
but my point being that I got it when a family member passed as like a remembrance thing.
Okay, so we can't make fun of it, is what you're saying.
I don't care if you make fun of it.
I just was way to let the air out of my balloon before I was just about to light you up. Like, it's a celebration. It's a memorial tattoo. Well, fuck, I can't say anything now.
I would just say that I think those are year-round movies. They could be put at any point, but I do think they do hit different during Christmas time. So I think it's a back and forth.
Well, they take place during the entire school year, so I don't really.
Yeah. Right. How is that a Christmas? Like, let's just say someone was going to take any of the Harry Potter movies. Like, how do you make that what makes that a Christmas movie?
Right.
Yeah. What makes Die Hard a Christmas movie is that it takes place on or right around Christmas.
Christmas during a Christmas party.
He just cinched it, man. He's the late night red. He just made it to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
All right.
Mr. Juan and Steve and Sydney are actually the people who've actually been kind enough to like give us a donation during an episode. So we love you all for life.
A donation. All right.
Yeah.
That's the greatest nation in the world. Donation.
Yeah, it is.
You know that Joe Pesci said that, and with honors. There you go. Not a Christmas movie. All right, my next pick. So I have a last pick that may lose me the draft, but it's very sentimental. So my next pick is going to be whether. All right, we're going to go more modern. We're going to go. There's one that was out a few years ago that kind of tugs at the heartstrings of any of us that grew up wanting a Nintendo Entertainment System.
Dude, it's such a good movie.
I'm taking 8-Bit Christmas.
Yeah.
It's modern. My kids loved it when it came out, but then also I had so many memories of the awful gloves that they had. Remember they had
Power Glove?
Yeah, Power Glove. Yep.
So I'm going to take 8-Bit Christmas as more of a modern Christmas movie because I already took my older Christmas movie, so I'm going to round it out with a more recent one.
I like it. So I'm going to take my TV special for my fifth round pick, and I'm mainly doing this because it's hilarious. Because those of us like me and probably some of our chat who love Star Wars know how much this really sucks, but it's so funny to watch. I'm taking the Star Wars Holiday Special because it's so bad, it's good. It's so horrible. Oh my god! It's
a like Chewbacca family Christmas, yes, sir.
It's brutal.
Didn't they make one for like Guardians of the Galaxy that had Kevin Bacon?
Yeah, that one's good though. That's good.
Okay.
Have you? If you guys have, listen, it's out there. Go yes. YouTube this. Go Google it. It is the single worst. Like, take what in your mind right now is the worst Star Wars production you can possibly think of, and then multiply that by a factor of 1,000,000. That is how bad the Star Wars Christmas special was. It was. Yes. It was it's seriously the most god awful thing ever produced as far as Christmas specials.
You could argue that jumped the shark, and yet they landed, and then they just kept going.
It was memorable.
Yeah,
like if you wanted to produce something that nobody would ever forget, that was the one.
Yep, that's the one for sure. It's it's rough, but it's a good laugh at how bad it's like. Do you remember when they did Kiss Meets the Phantom for like the Kiss NBC movie? It's that bad.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. To the point that like Paul Stanley, when they aired Kiss Meets the Phantom at the theater, he snuck out of the theater in his full Kiss gear, slid underneath his seat, and crawled out of the theater so no one saw him.
That's awful.
Yeah. All right. And I have my last pick. I don't know if I can top that last one because that one's pretty rough. But I think I'm going to go the romantic side, and I'm gonna do The Holiday.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a good one.
Remind me, which one was that?
It's got like everyone in it. Like Liam Neeson's in it. God, hold on. Let me pull it. Hugh Grant.
Yeah, but
it's
is that
a whole bunch of mixture of different people in it?
I know what you're talking about, but I was stuck on whether that was the one where you've got that wrong, I think, don't you? The Holiday's the one where they switch.
Oh, yeah, you're absolutely right. I'm thinking of Love Actually.
Love Actually.
Yes,
Yeah.
you're right. You're right, Seth.
Okay. I want to make sure.
That probably disqualifies me from the draft. But
does that take
It was
you
a
out?
matter. It was a matter of time.
You just Mike
if the
Tyson
Star Wars
yourself.
Holiday Special did not, then this did.
You Mike Tyson yourself into being skipped. Yeah.
Yeah. Or Mike
Or
Price.
you take Love Actually, or are you stuck with the
you're right.
Holiday where they switch places and Jack Black somehow plays a romantic lead? Love Actually.
Yep, Love Actually.
Yeah,
yeah, David's right. So the kiss thing I said earlier. Peter Chris and Ace were so drunk during film that he overdubbed the voice actors.
Okay. All right. My final pick. And this is the more sentimental one, but I don't have one of the claymation ones yet. And this is one that people didn't believe me existed when I talked about it with my wife's family one year. And I said, hey, that Rankin and Bass or whatever it was called, they would make all those things. And I said, what you need to do is you need to watch the Pinocchio Christmas. And after Christmas one year, my wife bought me this.
This guy came with props. Wait a minute. Wait.
So,
he said he didn't prepare.
That's elite.
Pinocchio's Christmas. Incredible. Santa Claus. If you haven't seen it, it's amazing. But you know who Pinocchio is? You know who Santa Claus is? So, Pinocchio's Christmas.
That's impressive.
I was gonna say.
That's impressive.
That's pretty good. This dude came prepared with props.
Yeah, that's impressive.
I'm really feeling like that Tim Daniel set me up for failure with just my email leak and no context.
I sent you a text message.
All right. Well, I've been drinking. Okay. By the way, can I tell you a funny story? A little segue. So Jeff Carr gets invited to a second grade career day a couple days ago, guys. So he goes in and he's talking about podcasting and he's talking about the stuff we do and how we do it. And then he plays for them a bit of the show. And he decides what would be the best bit of the show to play for him is when we went live after Ellie De La Cruz hit for the cycle, because we were on fire that night. We were on fire. What Jeff Carr forgets is he had one of these cooking, right? So we're playing this video for the second grade class, and we're doing our thing, and I'm losing my mind. Jeff's losing his mind, and he's like talking, and then swoom, big slug of the glass. Teacher from off screen says, "Wow, that looks like a good apple juice." Presentation continues. We get to the Q&A. What do you have a question, Ellie? Oh, yeah, he's great. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, yes. Little girl in the back. Yes, excuse me. I don't think that was an apple juice. Promise to God.
Yeah, because she's like, I know what my daddy likes.
Yeah, my daddy doesn't drink apple juice.
Exactly right. Exactly right. My daddy don't call that apple juice.
You don't call it apple juice.
No. All right. So for my final pick, I've been trying to be funny tonight, and I'm feeling pretty good. Thanks for having me on here.
Dude, it's been a blast having you.
I love talking with you guys. It always just puts a smile on my face. So I'm going to end with a funny man. I'm going to end with one of the all-time great funny men because I want Bill Murray on my team. I am taking Scrooged.
Ben already took that.
What?
Ben took it.
No, he did not.
Yeah, he did.
I did. Too much apple juice.
Play back to fourth round.
That's damn it. All right. All right. I need another story to tell while I try and regroup from this sadness and heartache that is now gripping me.
We're at an hour and 4 minutes and we still have at least 99 people. So
yeah. All right. Fine. I'll go as old school gets, and I'm gonna take A Christmas Carol.
Oh, good one.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yes, sir.
Do you remember when you saw it live?
Wow. I remember when I sent the link to this show to your old lady so that she knows about you and Sydney Sweeney. I remember when that happened, sir. By the way, if you just put in the comment section that the guys break down all things great about Sydney Sweeney, you're gonna get the most views that this show has ever gotten because the algorithm is just not going to know what to do.
Hey, in my defense, my wife is a big fan of Ryan Gosling, and I understand. So,
do you guys have that list? Like, let's really hijack the show. Do you guys have that list of like
the hall pass
celebrities? The hall pass, yeah. You got that list, Tim Daniel? Like,
we don't, but we're very honest with each other.
Yeah.
And we love each other very much, so it doesn't really matter anyway.
There it is.
Yeah. All right, Betty, you get to round out the draft.
It doesn't matter until Ryan Gosling shows up at the Holy Grail. Then you're screwed.
That's true, and I'll understand. I won't even fight it.
All right, my last pick. This one goes along the lines of sneaky Christmas movies. Best hall pass. No, I will be. I'll be out on that one.
Same.
That's gotta be like premium. That's gotta be like Patreon content.
Late night Reds.
Yeah, you'll have to be. I was gonna say you'll have to.
That's
you gotta pay double
show
for that. You gotta pay double for that one.
Yeah, when Conan was after Leno, right?
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, we're like James Corden levels here.
I was gonna say, yeah, that's Seth Meyer level. You got to be after late night. Yeah, you got to be Seth Meyer level on that one. All right, so my last pick, it's one of those, and I guess people think of it as a Christmas movie. I know I do. John Candy, Steve Martin, Planes, Trains, and
yeah.
Okay.
Just watched that the other night with Grace. Actually, she had never seen it before.
Really?
Yeah, man, she loved it.
Oh man, those aren't pillows.
I love when I've been wearing the same underwear since Tuesday. I can confirm that.
Yes.
Oh man. So
I got a problem though. That's a Thanksgiving movie.
Holiday season.
Protest.
Yeah.
I don't have a big enough screen to do it like the umpires do, but protest.
What is it? Go to
they
the
make
monitor.
the P. They make the P.
I want VAR.
I'm talking old school protest. They stand behind home plate.
Oh, okay.
Stand behind home plate. They wave at the scorer.
Oh yeah.
P for protest.
All right. So let's recap real quick, just so everyone knows everyone's picks, and then when I get free time tomorrow, I'll make a graphic, and I guess I'll put X back on my phone to put the results out. I haven't had it on my phone since the election. It's been awesome. All right. So Ben goes Christmas Vacation, The Polar Express, Miracle on 34th Street, Scrooged, the animated How the Grinch Stole Christmas, and Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. That's a great group of movies.
I think we all did pretty well, though, guys.
I did too. Yeah. I lost because of Star Wars, but
it's very inclusive. Very inclusive. There's a lot of diversity there.
Yes,
yeah,
there is.
For sure. Steve goes Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, A Christmas Story, The Gremlins. That's a great sneaky pick for sure. Frosty the Snowman, Bad Santa, A Christmas Carol. I think those are all very good. Seth goes It's a Wonderful Life. Every time. Charlie Brown Christmas, The Santa Claus, 8-Bit Christmas, sneaky good. Shout out Neil Patrick Harris. That movie's awesome. And Pinocchio Christmas.
You skipped Trading Places.
And Trading Places, yes.
Trading Places. And to Seth's credit, I mean, I It's a Wonderful Life is probably the number one all-time Christmas movie of Christmas movies. So that's a great pick.
That is a really good pick. I like it a lot. And then I go Elf, Home Alone, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, Batman Returns, the Star Wars Holiday Special, and Love Actually. So I lost, but I was on a good run for 4 rounds.
Yeah.
I had a good 4 rounds.
You did.
It's more than the Bengals can say in their last 3 or 4 drafts since the since the Jamar Chase draft. Seth and I can say that right now. We're running that show, so.
David Brown earlier commented a Homecoming Walton Mountain Christmas. I never saw that one, but I remember as a kid when I didn't have any cable or anything like that. Dolly Parton's A Smoky Mountain Christmas.
Yeah,
that was pretty good. I'll just say that.
Coat of Many Colors. Could do Coat of Many Colors.
So good.
Yeah.
Arcade Christmas.
Oh, here we go.
I barely make it through tomorrow. But
there goes all the revenue for a copyright violation.
I don't know what you're talking about, dude. Like Ben is like People come here for Ben. They're like, whatever about Tim. They're like, you know how many times like when people listen to our show and they're like, I really like the show. It was really fun. And they're like, I appreciate that you make Ben laugh every episode because he has the best laugh.
Yes.
It's like, and so it's like always my goal. Like, how can I get him to crack up at least once?
Hey, Carrie said White Christmas. That was on my list, and I just ran out. But White Christmas, and actually, I discovered that a few years ago. I hadn't seen it. It's from a long, long time ago, but something I could watch with my grandmother, and we sat down and watched it. It was very good.
Yeah.
See, I should have just taken the Hallmark Channel. That's what I should have done.
Yeah.
It's I mean, it would have scored you some points with the ladies.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah, that's true. Well, guys, I think we'll go ahead and wrap up this episode. This has been very fun. Before we go, since I have 3 Buckeyes on here with me, anyone want to give love to Sam Hubbard for catching a touchdown pass today? First,
that's right. We have nothing but athletes, man. Offense, defense, special teams, whatever you need. Nothing but athletes.
First Bengals defender to receive an offensive touchdown in franchise history.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
And of course, obviously the Hubbard yard dash is what he'll be known for, and the fact that he's from Cincinnati. And I remember when Urban Meyer discovered him.
The Hubbard yard dash alone should put him in the Bengals Ring of Honor. So,
1,000%.
No, it will. It will.
So my son has Burrow jersey and a Chase jersey, but I think it was last Christmas or maybe the one at some point, maybe a birthday. He said, "I want a Hubbard jersey." And he said because he played for the Buckeyes, and he had the Hubbard yard dash, and I want that. And so we got it for him, and it was way too big, and now he's finally starting to grow into it. And I told him after he caught that, you got to wear that tomorrow. So I'm sure he will.
Can I say that Seth is raising great kids? How is that? Yes. Sign me up for that.
Well, the coolest thing is my little guy, when he was only like, 4 or so, he loved T. Higgins. Like T's rookie year, he loved T. Higgins. And so I couldn't get him a jersey, though, because there was Burrow jerseys and there were A.J. Green jerseys at the time. And that was all you could find, unless you went
Gio Bernard, You
could go to Marshall's and find a Dalton jersey. But so I called down to Cook's Sporting Goods, and I said, hey, is there anything you can do for me? And I told him how big my kid was. He was a little guy. And he goes, I got one that's going to be big on him, but he can grow into it. He goes, I think I can help you out. Let me call you back. And he calls me back, and he says, yeah, we've got it. Give me your address, pay over the phone here. I've got you taken care of. You'll get it before Christmas. We get it in the mail, and it's an 85 because that was right. They didn't make the switch yet, right? It was the older jersey.
Yeah.
The nameplate is like twice as heavy as it should be, and I start feeling it. It's a Tyler Eifert jersey.
Yeah, stitched over an Eifert.
They put a Higgins nameplate on it for me. And I'm like, awesome. Oh, thank you so much. And he actually probably just outgrew it this year because he's been wearing it 3 or 4 years.
And by the way, for free advertising, if you haven't been to Cook's,
it's unreal.
Those guys are so helpful. Like every time I'm in town, I walk up there while I'm like waiting for the game to start or whatever, and just kind of wander through. They've always got something. They're great.
Years ago, I bought an Eric Davis with the 1990 World Series patch and the American flag, everything. They sewed everything on it for me. And then my buddy, he's a Cleveland guy, Neil Sika. He calls MLS games on Apple TV. He came down with me, and he's a Cleveland guy. They made him an authentic Earl Averill jersey, like their first Hall of Famer from like the way in the old days, with the full headdress and all that. And they do great work down there.
Yeah, the thing that blew me away the most when I went the one time is they had a blank Chicago Bulls number 12 jersey hanging up, and I went, that's something very few people get.
That's genius.
Yeah. But it was pretty cool they had it. So also my advice if you go to Cook's is bring cash. Don't bring a credit card.
Well, here's the other thing though about them. In the 80s, especially like that 88 when the Bengals were so good, and even throughout the early 90s and things like that, they literally sewed all the Bengals jerseys. They didn't have a Bernie Stowe in a clubhouse or something like that. So Cooks did all that for them. And if you watch the highlight videos, there's videos of Boomer with the 7 where it kind of goes down like this, but there's also video with him with the 7 with the little block on the bottom that's more straight. And I talked to Jack Brennan one time about that. He was a PR guy, right? The media relations guy. And he's like, yeah, Cooks just gave us whatever they had. And it was like we're talking 1988. It's not like it's 1930. And it's basically whatever Cooks had, they sent it down to the stadium.
That's awesome. That's so
crazy.
funny. I didn't know they did that year. That's pretty cool. But hey, guys, thank you all for not only a fun episode tonight, but Ben and I couldn't thank you enough for a fun year. I know it wasn't the best Red season, but I think the off season has made us all a little more optimistic with the Francona hire, and we've been really happy to be here step by step. And of course, having guys like Seth and Steve and Jeff Carr and Chad when he has time for us swinging by has been really cool. So we've definitely appreciated everyone this year, and the weeks we took off and everyone who jumped in, whether it's Seth and Chad and Nate and everybody. So thanks for keeping Late Night Reds a big part of your Sundays. We like to say we're the podcast that helps you avoid your Sunday scaries. So we're definitely grateful for that as well. But if anything insane does happen, if any Reds we've had, we will get back on. But otherwise, the game plan is we'll be back January 6th. So that's the date. That's our return date. But otherwise, we are still going to go strong this week for content. So on Friday, the Riverfront this week, we're doing a really cool episode. We're going to talk about baseball cards and collecting and what they've meant to us. And I've got my buddy Jake Baker joining us. He's the owner of Liquid Sports Cards in Cincinnati. So he's going to come and talk to us about the hobby and why he opened a card shop and what baseball cards mean to him. He's going to hang out with us this week. And if you have stories you want us to share as well, please send them our way. Check out Seth and I. We're recording tomorrow, so it'll probably be up in the afternoon sometime tomorrow for Welcome to the Jungle. We're going to talk about the Bengals somehow beating the Titans with 38 turnovers and 90 penalties. So
that was a football game.
That was technically it was played. It was something.
It was something.
Yes.
If you're looking for a succinct description of that game, just go onto the socials and find the lip reading of Joe Burrow. You'll get a good succinct description of that game.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Seth has a Red Leg Roundtable on Tuesday on this very feed with the crafty left-hander himself, Chris Welsh. I know one of Steven's good buddies. So you want to check that out
guy
as well. And of course, Monday through Friday, Locked on Reds, Steve and Jeff holding it down every day. So everyone, thank you. Have a great holiday season. We'll see you guys next year, hopefully with some great news. Everyone, Merry Christmas to all and to all a good night.